All right, what is going on, guys? Hope you guys are having a good night so far. I'm filming this because I do not want to film right now, and the best time to do things you don't want to do is now. So I'm filming. In this video, I'm going to be kind of breaking down my plan for Q4 and how I plan on grossing at least $1 million, my best Q4 ever. And a lot of people will just throw a number out there and be like, yeah, bro, I'm going to lock in this winter and make a bunch of money. But I have a legit plan. I have a NASCAR deal. I'm working on a legit NASCAR sponsor backend. I have been appointed to manage and operate the entire backend of a NASCAR sponsor e-commerce store. So that's a pretty big lever. And Meta just dropped the Andromeda algorithm. I've been doing a ton of research into that. I'm going to be kind of explaining to you guys my take on the algorithm, how I'm going to use it, how I'm already using it, how people I work with are already using it, and also just my plans with personal brand stuff. So if you care at all, this is going to be a nice video to kind of show how somebody who's already put himself in a pretty good position plans on approaching Q4 without the vague statement of just, yeah, bro, I'm going to lock in. Like, I actually have a plan. I'm going to show you guys mirror boards and stuff, really cool stuff. But yep, stay tuned. Let's go. All right, now we're inside the mirror board of one of the bigger brands that I work with. They have done well over 6 figures, and we've big goals going to this Q4. And I kind of wrote in this mirror board, the reason for it being all zoomed is because I don't want to leak anything that they're doing. But I wrote a little note here about the Andromeda algorithm, so that's what we'll go ahead and start with. This is kind of my take on it. So I wrote, Meta released their Andromeda algorithm recently. This changes the way campaigns should be optimally ran, and also partly explains the inconsistent performance in the blank brand name ad account currently. The Andromeda algorithm shifts meta ads from audience hacking to creative-driven retrieval, meaning we should stop relying on narrow interest stacks and instead lean into a broad Advantage Plus campaign and lots of diverse creatives. Andromeda retrieves ads at the individual user level, like TikTok does, so the system matches the right creative to the right person without you forcing segmentation. That makes creative variety, post-click engagement signals like quiz completions, and clean KPI server-side tracking the new growth levers. TLDR, success on our Andromeda equals broad targeting, creative library, data hygiene, fast refresh cycles, not micro audience control. TLDR, for the TLDR, CBOs are the best now. Advantage Plus targeting is optimal. Meta wants diverse creatives put into a CBO and left on for a few days at a time. That is the Andromeda algorithm, and almost effective immediately. It has made a difference. One person that I work with specifically, shout out Tyler if you're watching this, but his brand was extremely inconsistent until we kind of Andromeda optimized his testing creatives. Then he had a very good testing day for a couple of his newer creatives, $500 in revenue, which is not bad at all. He's still a bit of a beginner, so it was very good for him. But this just goes to show that even like a overnight change, kind of leaning more towards Andromeda's recommendations, can make a big difference. So as far as Andromeda, I'm going into Q4 very CBO heavy, very diverse creative heavy. Instead of volume, 1,000 creatives with 1,000 different hooks, same visual, I'm going more so less, still volume for sure, but less, and really focusing on making sure each creative is extremely diverse. Different visual, different hook, different concept, different angle. Not going to try to outsmart Meta. I have a very bad habit. I try to outsmart Meta. I really do, and I need to stop. But not this Q4. This Q4, we're going in with CBOs, decent budgets, nothing under 50, leaving them on. Very diverse creatives. So that is my take on the Andromeda algorithm specifically and how it's going to affect me working into Q4. If you own an e-commerce brand that is already making money or just now trying to get one off the ground and you want to work with me going into Q4, click the first link in the description. Once you click on that link, you'll fill out an application to see if your brand is a good fit. I have one of the only coaching programs with an ROI guarantee, meaning if you do not make your money back within the specified time frame, I will continue working with you until you do. That is the only fair coaching guarantee that can be given. Anybody that is offering you a monetary guarantee is probably scamming you. That is not feasible, possible, or realistic. But if you want my personal help going into Q4, click the first link in the description to apply. And that is my take on the Andromeda algorithm and how I'm implementing it into brands that I'm working on. Obviously, with a lot of my brands that I'm running personally, I keep those pretty private, but I'm making the exact same changes in those as well. Now I want to talk about my most public branding cooperation yet, which is this NASCAR sponsor, Logistics Racing. They've been very gracious as to let me operate on the back end of their Shopify. I built the whole site out. I'm mapping out the creative system setup. We're going to do everything so well there when we launch, which is very, very soon. Now, I already filmed a video breaking down exactly how I know this brand is going to do well on launch, and I'm going to play that right now for you guys because me filming 20 days ago when my mind was more refreshed is a lot better than me doing it now. So I'm going to play that now, and I hope you guys enjoy it very, very much. It is very insightful. So yeah, I wanted to talk about one of the brands that I'm working on right now. You've heard me talk about it before, but it's one of my biggest deals ever. I'm actually going to be behind all Shopify backend for a legitimate NASCAR sponsor whose driver is quite literally one of the youngest prodigies in the NASCAR space. And exactly how I'm going to launch it, we are launching very, very soon, and how I know it's going to work. And the way that I'm linking this to my standard content is just the fact that I feel like a lot of you guys are shooting and hoping to hit something, and you're not quite sure how to predict it. I got a DM the other day from somebody who I know quite well saying, Adam, I can win, I can sell, I can make money, but I can't do it consistently. How do I do that? And that's honestly one of the most underrated questions in this business model. Is, yeah, you can do it once. How can you ensure you're doing it over and over and over again? And the short answer is by doing everything on purpose, knowing what you're doing, why you're doing it, and what's going to happen as a result of that thing. If you can do that and you can stop getting lucky, you can replicate it. So I figured before this brand launches, I'm going to break down to you guys exactly why I know this will work. I just know it's going to work. For a fact, it is indisputable this will work. I'm going to explain to you guys why. There's a couple points here. So I have their a few tabs open. This is their Instagram, Registics Racing. Registics is a local company in my city, Charlotte, North Carolina, and they landed a NASCAR deal, which is really cool. They have drivers, wearing their stuff. They have a Registics race car here, and then they have a car, as you can see, with their tag on the back. So overall, awesome people. I spoke to the owner. I'm actually working closely with him on this deal to make sure everything goes smoothly, and super cool guy, super down to earth. This is overall just a great deal to be working on. I'm very honored that they'd let me do it, because of course I'm younger, and it's hard to trust younger people, but they chose the right guy for the job. Let me explain to you guys why this is going to work. So, number one, let me go ahead and get my little marker out here. I know you guys love my drawings. I'm the best artist in the world. But number one, this beautiful graph here. You guys see that? Check this out. It's actually a wrong graph. More so like this. Okay. So, when this was first a thing, Registics Racing, nobody really knew about it. However, recently, they've been winning a lot. I want to say a lot. I mean a lot. I mean like a lot. And because of that, hype has been growing. Organic following has been growing. Posts like this have been growing 1,600 organic likes on this. Unbelievable. They're partnered with JR Motorsports. I'm not a huge NASCAR guy. I'm not big in the space, but I know that this is a big brand. So they're partnered with a big brand already. They're getting organic likes on a collaboration post. So we already have the organic hype, and yes, we're going to be running paid ads for them as well. However, this hype is going to help a lot. It's brand familiarity on one level that can't be reached from your standard drop shipping from scratch brand. So, reason number one why this will work, very simple, hype. Hype will work. Very, very easy. There is demand. There is proven demand. 100% proven demand for this brand. It's going to work. People know who this guy is. People know who this guy is. Everybody knows who everybody is. That is always extremely helpful. But I understand that a lot of you guys you're starting brands that nobody knows. So how do you get people to know you? Well, kind of look at the way that Registics did it. Connections and drivers that win. It's the truth. That's why people know them, because they win. That's it. You have to be better than everybody else. But a lot of you guys aren't NASCAR sponsors. You don't have 5,000 organic likes. So that's not quite applicable to you. Why else do I know this is going to work? Well, let me break it down for you again. So on top of this, let me make a little sub, manufacturing. So as far as the manufacturing of the product, what is the product? Well, we have multiple. We have a hat coming out, but for now, there's just a shirt listed on the website. So let's go ahead and talk about the website really quickly. So this is Damn Good Brands. Now, this is a little bit confusing, but Damn Good Brands essentially owns Registics, which then funnels into Registics Racing, right? And the owner of Damn Goods also wants to sell Damn Good products. He has golf bags, hats, shirts, socks, everything. We're doing that later, not now. But the core homepage of the site is Damn Good. Now this site took me a very, very long time to make, and not to put the sections in and decide what color to use, but rather the technical things, like clicking Shop Logistics Racing and everything switching to this new color scheme with the new logo here. That was extremely difficult. I'll show you guys how I did that. Is a custom liquid code that I was formulating over hours and hours and hours, and it's right here. And I don't know what importance this has to you guys, but really cool code to kind of layer a header on top of an old one and make it look good and make it change color and make it seem flawless. But as you can see, we just have a Connor's LHT right here. This is the driver that is doing well, and of course this is not filled in yet, but we're going to get that done right before we launch. Got pictures, all this good stuff. Super simple. Super simple. But as far as the manufacturing goes, these aren't coming from Printify. These aren't coming from Printful. These are manufactured in-house. We have a fulfillment warehouse. We have inventory in-house. We have 25 units to start in every single size, and then if we need more, of course, we'll get more. But we have in-house manufacturing, which is extremely helpful, meaning, add another tab here, US shipping times. Cool, right? Very nice, which is usually 4 to 6 days max. So as far as logistics go, this is going to work. Customer experience is underrated. People want to come back and buy things they're fans of, such as NASCAR. So we need to make sure the customer experience is good. That's why I'm very excited. This is gonna be the first brand I work on that has in-house manufacturing, which is super cool. I can literally drive to their warehouse 20 minutes from here, and I can go feel the shirts, which is the coolest thing to me ever. So in-house manufacturing, we have inventory up front, we have US shipping times. So customer experience, go here. So I'm so bad at writing with my mouse. Customer experience is on lock. We got it. So all we have to worry about is the front end. How do we sell units? Because once the units are sold, we're good. The quality is there. The shipping times are there. The manufacturing is there. Everything is there. It's all in-house. Now, our biggest bubble here is hype. Hype is so awesome because, as you can see, 5,000 organic likes here, tons of engagement, everybody's super happy. The reason that is so helpful is because when we do decide to run paid ads, it won't be cold traffic. It won't be. Retargeting and lookalike audiences. So retargeting and lookalike audiences are going to be super beneficial here. When it comes to predicting a brand success, or how do I ensure that I can do this again and again and again, it comes down to just making a pros and cons list. A list of reasons it would work compared to reasons it would not work. So let me make a little bit of a table here. Very uneven table. So, pros, cons. Being able to predict the success of a brand isn't like, it's not wizardry. It's fairly simple. So far, a huge one that we have, pros, is hype. We have hype. Hype, in-house manufacturing, which is extremely useful. And on top of that comes shipping times. And of course, NASCAR is a extremely loyal fan base. Pros. This is what we have. This is the cards we have to show. This is it. This is all we have. Cons. NASCAR fans typically tend to be, how do I word this, poor in the pockets. NASCAR fans, diehard NASCAR fans, aren't known for being the wealthiest of people. It's just true. No, I'm not generalizing. I'm saying that, all right, Miro just deleted my line of text. Not sure why. I'm going to go ahead and abbreviate that. Broke customer base. So typically the ICP for this is people with not that much money, which in return means lower margins, which furthermore means likely $25 to $30 price points, which is not great. But let me go ahead and add one more pro here. Cheap sourcing, because we are manufacturing in-house. So when we look at all the cards we're dealt, good and bad, and we look at this list, it's quite obvious that the pros win. Because almost every single con can be combated by a pro. Broke customer base, cheap sourcing. Lower margins, cheap sourcing. Likely $25, $30 price points, cheap sourcing can fix all of that. We're sourcing these shirts $4 or $5 a pop. I think that most expensive is, what, $8, $9? So our margins are pretty decent for a t-shirt. And these are all just t-shirts. I'm not sure the margins on the hats yet. But predicting a brand's success is as simple as a pros and cons list, laying all your cards out on the table and just saying, okay, I understand the basics of how to run meta ads. I know how to set up a lookalike campaign. I know how to set up a retargeting campaign. I know how to write viable copy. I know how to play my cards right. You just have to lay all your cards out on the table. Every single pro and con you have, good card, bad card, doesn't matter. Lay them out, make a list, understand if there are more cons than pros. If there are, you got a problem. If there aren't, like this, you likely know it's going to work. And of course, all of these are some are heavier than others. Hype is like hype. If we were doing this by importance, let me do a little bit of a different kind of demonstration here. So in-house manufacturing is pretty huge. Shipping time, decent. Low fan base, very good. Not a lot of selling to be done. Cheap sourcing, very good. Broke customer base, pretty big problem. Lower margins, pretty big problem. $25, $30 price points, not a huge problem because of our cheap sourcing. So if I had to organize it by size, bigger for pros means the better the pro. Cons, bigger means the worse the con. Hype overpowers everything. Also, doing it like this is very effective because you could have a ton of cons, but you could have one pro that combats all of them. Like cheap sourcing combats most of these. So as far as predicting your brand success, it's not extremely difficult. Just look at what you have, work with what you have. If you don't have much, you're likely not in a good spot. You got to have some sort of competitive edge over the next person. If you're starting your brand from complete scratch and you have nothing, like nothing, no proven market research, no competitor that's doing well, no content to use, none of that, you're kind of cooked, man. Your cons list is going to be a lot bigger than your pros list, and that's not a good thing. I see too many people fighting uphill battles, using the worst, like I'm big into supplements, using the worst kind of supplement, like powders, with no competitors and no content available to use. It's an uphill battle. You have no proof. If you want to understand how to predict a brand success, it's not some wizard skill that you develop through tens of hours. You get a sense for it, yeah, but it's really just a matter of, opening your hand, looking at your cards, seeing what you have, seeing what you don't have, and being honest with yourself. So the reason I know this is going to work has nothing to do with how good the site is. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. The custom liquid's cool. I didn't even have to do it. Nothing to do with the site. I could probably set up a Dawn theme and just throw a product on here and it would still sell because these fans don't care about it. This extremely loyal fan base eliminates the need to have an insane website. I still made it look really good because I like doing that, but hype and extremely loyal fan base is a cheat code. And you might be thinking, well, Adam, this is great, but this does not apply to me. Nobody knows my product. You can broaden this a bit. You could just say my niche has an extremely loyal fan base and a lot of hype. That can validate it. You can't do this anymore because it's just not a good idea legally, but last year, Hello Kitty products were huge. Huge. You know why they did so well? Extremely loyal fan base and hype. That's the only two reasons why. But your store is brand new. Nobody's ever seen your brand name before, but they know Hello Kitty. Same thing with, there was a lot of Taylor Swift products last year. I don't know why I don't keep up with Taylor Swift, but there was. There were Stanley Cup copies, dupes. Why do you think those did well? Do you think that people were just buying them because it was a good-looking tumbler? No. They're an extremely loyal fan base to Stanley, and it has a lot of hype, and you were offering a cheaper option. Look at that one, cheap sourcing. I just accidentally gave another one. But this video is pretty much to answer the question how to predict if a brand is going to do good, how to do this consistently. And TLDR is understand your cards, understand the cards you have, play what you can, remedy what you can't, and do everything on purpose. If you do everything on purpose, every single little detail on purpose, and you know exactly what happened, if you make your ads, publish them, and before you go to sleep, you say, I know these will do well because X. And you wake up and they do well because of X, you will never have a problem ever again with repeating what you've done. because you made money on a store once or twice, it doesn't mean much unless you know exactly how you did it down to the last metric. It's difficult. It's a new game. Trying to do it again and again and again and again. It requires a new level of intelligence that you have to develop. It's very difficult. It's harder than it is to make a bit of money starting out. But it's an extremely important skill if you love this and you want to do it for the rest of your life. Very important. But yeah, just figured this program was a good idea to showcase for this video, showing exactly how I'm going to make it work. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to update you guys through the process. I'm allowed to show you all this stuff. So yeah, hope you guys have a good night, and I'll see you later. Peace.